Hello, good morning and welcome. Here we are at pitch number 2 at the Ciutat Esportiva, where we're about to bring you some live coverage of the first 15 minutes of the final training session before tomorrow's game at home to Athletic Bilbao, a game that's going to be kicking off at 4:15 Central European time. We're having a lovely morning here in Barcelona. It's been very chilly in January, but February seems to have brought the sun. 13 degrees temperatures today, very nice and warm. Still some of the players wearing gloves, but not really necessary today. It's pretty warm. And although it's going to cloud over tomorrow, it's going to be fairly good weather as well tomorrow for tomorrow's game against Athletic Bilbao. You can see the players taking to the field now. That's Sergi and Sergio, Busquets and Roberto. And as usual, we're going to be bringing you the first 15 minutes of the training session, after which the cameras will be switched off so that Ernesto Valverde and his colleagues won't be able to know what's going on. But we will get something of an idea when we listen to Luis Enrique. He's going to be giving a press conference, which you'll also be able to listen to live here on fcbarcelona.com. That's starting around about 12:30 Central European time as ever, and you'll be able to listen to that live, so we'll look forward to welcoming you back for that. So yesterday was the first of just 2 training sessions in between the game with Atletico Madrid and the game with Athletic Bilbao. It's non-stop at the moment, which, as Luis Enrique is always reminding us, is always a good thing in January and February, because if you're playing 2 games a week, that means you're still playing in the Copa del Rey. Of course, we've got Atletico Madrid again coming up midweek. And that will be the end of the spell of back-to-back League and Copa games, because then there'll be a hiatus as far as the Copa del Rey is concerned until the final, assuming, of course, that Barça qualify. But we're pretty nicely poised at the moment, as you know, after the 2-1 win at the Vicente Calderón on Wednesday. The other semi-final, in fact, was played last night. If you're not aware, that ended 0-0 between Celta and Alaves. So Barça with at least 1 foot already in the final after Wednesday's results. The opposition very much still hanging on a line. So the coaching staff just taking the chance to have a chat with the players before we move into the warm-up part of the session. See Andres Iniesta just in the picture there. He trained yesterday. It's nice to see him back training with his colleagues. He's had a soleus injury in his left leg, but he's back training. Whether that means he's going to be available for tomorrow's game, that's a question I'm sure that Luis Enrique is going to be asked later on, and it's something that absolutely none of us have got any idea exactly of the extent of the injury, because they like to keep these things private. It's up to the player if he wants to release any details about his injury. So Luis Enrique is very considerate of that when discussing injury situations of the players. We're going to, hopefully all will be revealed, but the actual squad for the game will be announced, one assumes, on Saturday morning, on the morning of the match. That would be the normal protocol from Luis Enrique in these situations, but sometimes he surprises us, so let's wait and see. Umtiti there on the right of the image, who had a fantastic game at the Vicente Calderón. He's played every Copa del Rey game so far this season. But of course the hectic schedule doesn't let off for Barça, because now the back-to-back Copa del Rey situation is ending. Of course, the Champions League is about to resume. That's on the 14th of February. Sends tingles down your spine just to think of it. Barça at Paris Saint-Germain for the first leg. The second leg is on the 8th of March. Quite a gap between the first and the second leg fixtures there. The Trident takes to the field. They always seem to come out later than all the rest. Leo Messi there with Luis Suarez, two players that absolutely dazzled on Wednesday night. A lot of talk all around the world about Leo Messi's wonderful performance, also his wonderful strike with his left foot in off the post, the second goal. And the first goal certainly didn't pale in comparison. Luis Suarez with his wonderful run from the halfway line, taking on three Atletico defenders. And so, we're slowly moving into action. The goalkeepers have been taken aside. They're going to be training, or starting the training session at least separately. Ter Stegen in the picture. He was rested midweek, as seems to be the case now in Copa del Rey games. Jasper Cillessen taking his place and doing an absolutely splendid job of it as well, one has to say. But Ter Stegen is generally the man for the Liga games. We assume he's going to be the first choice stopper tomorrow. Towering above everybody else there, Gerard Piqué. He's now 30 years and a day older. Yesterday, of course, he celebrated his 30th birthday, the big 3-0 for Gerard Piqué. Well, Andres is looking very solid and happy. Be great to see him back in action tomorrow. Barça, for the second weekend in a row, are playing one of the opening games of the Liga program. Which we understand, in fact, tonight's game between Deportivo and Betis, that's been suspended because of heavy storms in the northwest of Spain, in Galicia. Some almost hurricane-level winds hitting that part of the country. The game's been suspended. Barça, the only one of the top three who are in action tomorrow. I repeat, at 4:15 Central European Time. Sevilla, who are now tied with Barça, they're playing on Sunday at 12 o'clock. A tricky game for them. They're at home, but they're at home to Villarreal. And Real Madrid, once again, are winding up the weekend. They're playing a tricky game as well, away to Celta. So that's a very losable game, that, for Real Madrid. Certainly a game where they could drop points. Not exactly winding up the weekend. There is another fixture on Monday night. That's Granada against Las Palmas, which at least in theory has no direct impact on Barca's place in the league. So we're moving into the Rondo section. Bilbao, of course, a team that Barça are very familiar with. It seems extraordinary the amount of times that Barça and Athletic Club have crossed paths in recent seasons. Of course, they've already met twice in 2017 in the Cup. First game of the season, of course, Barça lost 2-1 at San Mamés, made amends in stupendous style, winning 3-1 in the second leg. But Athletic, they're having a good time of it in 2017. That second leg against Barca was the only game they've actually lost since the new year. A lot of games have ended in draws, but they haven't lost, and they've been slowly picking up points, moving up the table. They're now 7th with 32 points. A Europa League place certainly on the cards for the Basques next season. But they'll have their work cut out tomorrow at the Camp Nou, pretty sure of that. In fact, you have to go all the way back to 2014 for the last time when Athletic picked up a Liga point at the Camp Nou. They have drawn a couple of times in Copa del Rey encounters. Sorry, one was actually in the Super Cup. But as far as the league is concerned, not since 2014 have Athletic picked up a point. Of course, always have to be careful to make sure it's Athletic Club. People tend to like to call them Bilbao. That's not the name of the club, and they're a very proud set of supporters up there in the Basque Country. The club is Athletic Club, not Athletic Bilbao, not Athletic Club Bilbao, it's Athletic Club. Bit of history here for you if you like. This actually dates all the way back to when Athletic Club was founded, and there were two clubs in the city. Athletic Club was mainly made up of local players, and Bilbao FC was a club made up mainly of foreigners, almost entirely English or from the British Isles. And so they were very adamant that they were the Athletic Club. Bilbao FC were the team of foreigners, and there was quite a rivalry between those teams back in the old days. Bilbao FC, of course, now hasn't existed for well over 100 years. But Athletic Club certainly have. They're one of the only three teams that have played every season of La Liga since it first was contested in 1929. No prizes for guessing who the other two ever presents are. Just caught Leo Messi in our picture there. Athletic Club is a team he's got an excellent record against. He's played them 16 times in games at the Camp Nou and has scored 13 goals in those games. That's 0.8 goals a game against Athletic in all competitions against Bilbao Athletic Club at home. And we've got a little surprise coming up for you if you keep an eye on the FC Barcelona website. Later on today, we've got a video of all those goals that he's scored. One of which, of course, is the goal in the Copa del Rey final of 2015, which, of course, was played at the Camp Nou. And that probably one of the greatest goals he's ever scored. And there have been some great goals for him for the team over the years. But if you were to pick the top 10, I think you'd probably have to get that incredible run down the right wing when he finished off and scored the goal, which delivered the Copa del Rey to FC Barcelona, the first of two in a row, and fingers crossed, the first of three in a row. Things certainly on pretty good course at the moment in the Copa del Rey. I'm not sure what Jeremy Mathieu found so funny there, but you can see he certainly picked up that very Latin action of moving the wrist like that, meaning oi, 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 oi. It's something, if you live in this part of the world for long enough, you soon pick up those funny little hand gestures. Maybe they use that gesture in France as well, I don't know. Got a glimpse there of Neymar Jr. He's suspended for the game against Atletico Madrid. He picked up a third Copa del Rey yellow card. He'll be missing the game. Of course, there's the looming problem that's been talked about, is that Leo Messi's on a yellow and he would miss a theoretical final if he were to get booked against Atletico Madrid. Let's just hope, A, that he doesn't, and B, that Barça are in the final. You can see there's a bit of blue sky up in the air. You can't argue with the weather, really. This is just the second, third day of February, and the sun's out shining. There is rain forecast for Sunday, but tomorrow should be a lovely day at the Camp Nou for what, of course, is going to be a daylight kickoff. Still daylight at 4:15, but it should be dark by the time the game ends. Well, they've managed to string together 20 passes. So when the guys on the outside string together 20 passes, the ones in the middle, Dennis Suarez there, one of the guilty party. I think Samuel Umtiti was the other. And they get punished by getting slapped on the back like that. That's when they manage to string together 20 passes in the outer ring. I think that was a handball there from Gerard Piqué. He seems a bit unhappy, but hey, get in the middle, son. Get in the middle. No handling of the ball. This is a warm-up exercise which pretty much throughout Spain is the norm when warming up for games. I've lived outside of the UK for so long, I don't know if it's now the norm back home. I imagine it probably is in a lot of the clubs that some of you youngsters play for. Well, I think we're about to lose the signal, but don't go too far away because, like I say, around about 12:30 Central European time, we'll be bringing you live coverage of Luis Enrique's press conference, where he'll be asked all the questions about tomorrow's game against Athletic Bilbao. One of the big questions, will Iniesta be in the squad? And a lot more. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in about an hour's time from now. All the best. Goodbye.
Cuando corría por la banda la gente me tocaba. Era sensacional. Recuerdo que nos daban invitaciones para la familia. Mi padre iba al Gol Norte y cuando acababa el partido estaba en el Gol Sur. Montar una agrupación de exjugadoras, como tiene el masculino, ¿no? Contactamos con el Barça. Fue el proceso que nos indicaron. Y del Barça nos derivaron a la agrupación.